Hi, welcome back to my garden. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of this week's film, I'll apologise in advance if you hear some music in the background or intermittent bursts of loud noise. I'm filming on a Friday. We're going into one of potentially the noisiest of this year's weekends. Not only is it the last weekend when electioneering for the local municipal elections is permitted, and that implies lots of cars whizzing around with speakers blaring at full volume, promising, well, I suppose in the words of Juvenal, bread and circuses. Anyway, if there isn't electioneering to contend with, it's also the week of the festival of St. Francis, who is, I don't know if he's actually the patron saint of Paripuera, but he is the most popular saint, it would seem, and it's a sort of week-long outdoor masses and auctions to raise funds for the church and assorted parties and lots of noise. I wouldn't mind so much if celebrating St. Francis suggested that everyone treated the birds and animals with due love and respect, but I'm not sure that's entirely the case. But here I am ranting and starting to grumble, so let's get on with the video. That's much more interesting. Now, everybody loves a challenge, it would seem. I'm now 2 weeks into my 100-day challenge, and in this week's letter from the esteemed writer that I receive every week, Oliver Berkman, he offered his challenge. It's not a 100-day challenge. It's not a sort of specific time frame challenge, but it certainly is an interesting take on or twist in that story. So what was the challenge that he laid down? It was the unproductivity challenge. He challenges you to schedule each week a spell where you don't commit to being productive, but where you commit, you force yourself to be deliberately, willfully unproductive. Now, I'm not going to pick that apart in too much detail. Essentially, his argument seems to be that this drive to be ever more productive is counterproductive. And actually, making time when you do something like go for a walk or read a good book, something that you really, really do enjoy, and forcing yourself to pop the to-do list in the drawer, to switch your phone on silent, to decompress, is a very, very helpful strategy. And ironically, his newsletter seems to encourage us to do this because, of course, by doing this, we will end up being subtly, strangely, perversely more productive. And I think it makes sense. I buy it. And it certainly, as a strategy, is something that I think resonates with my 100-day challenge. Now, if you're one of the rare people out there in the interweb stratosphere place, and you don't regularly watch every one of my videos, okay, if you're not one of the few dozen people who does, and you missed the videos about my 100-day challenge, on the 23rd of September, I embarked on a challenge where I would track each day whether I took a step forward, however small, towards fulfilling one of the goals in the sort of 5 areas of life interest, or perhaps I haven't said that right, but you know what I mean. In my case, my pursuit of adult chess improvement, chess mastery, my work professionally as a sculptor, my life as a content creator, and my physical and psychological well-being, including the relationships that I cherish, and the development of the cultural space and the gallery that is part of a sort of long-term life mission. So each day, I give myself a little gold star. So far, it's a Biro star that I haven't coloured in yet, but I certainly am drawing the stars. And I give a little star if I move myself forward in a session towards any one of those 5 areas. And initially, my first few days, they were really 3-star days. I'd do a couple of sessions of sculpture, and I'd do something else. Maybe I'd make a video, maybe I'd do some work on my chess, and that was about it. And then I had a day where really, in good faith, I could only give myself 1 star. We went on a trip to Fortaleza. I accompanied my wife, but I did help her. And so I felt that merited a star, even if the rest of the day was spent photocopying pirated books, and then later on reading them and watching videos, none of which really I can say moved me forward in any real sense. I think they're bad things to do. The books that I photocopy, I do buy books from those authors when I can, when it's possible. Now mostly chess books, and so I view it as a sort of online local library. It probably is the wrong thing to do, but that's how I rationalize it in my own twisted mind. So that was a 1-star day. But this week I found myself really feeling a little energized. After this string of 3-star days, I had a 4-star day and a 6-star day, another 4-star day. And so things are working well. Today might be a little distracted because of the festivities in the village, but the tally for this week, I think, will be 22 stars in 5 days, which is all right. Not sure how the weekend will go, but this week is looking good. And as I say, I think this fits in with the sort of philosophy underpinning Oliver Burkeman's thinking, because what I'm really trying to say to myself and share with you is that we need to take a very much a long-term view of things. And if we're just keeping of good cheer, if we are consistently, steadily making a little bit of progress on things, and not allowing ourselves to become caught in a trap, a sort of alternative rat race. And it seems to me that's what a lot of people seem to be doing if YouTube influencer videos are anything to go by. They talk about breaking free from the matrix, sort of dropping out, and then that just becomes its own sort of success-driven, pressured lifestyle. And my viewpoint is more that we need to follow a mastery path where we view life as a as a joyful thing, but part of that joy is learning new things and developing and becoming who I hesitate to say we were meant to be, or we might be, something like that. So I do feel that the 100-day challenge is going well, and it has a real chance of becoming something that supports my life, basically. A habit that is not a restrictive prison-like routine, but is rather something like brushing your teeth. A good thing to do. So that's it on the 100-day challenge. But of course, I'm not satisfied with a mere 100-day challenge, because this week, in fact today, I've embarked on a sort of structured kind of framework for my chess improvement. And it's not 100 days, it's 1,000 days. The idea, starting today, the 4th of October, when I actually publish this film is another matter, but starting on today and going through until the 30th of June 2027, that will represent 1,000 days, more or less 2 years, 9 months. And that's a nice chunk of time to sort of perform an experiment. If I work steadily on my chess and gradually build momentum, what change will take place? What progress will be made? What surprises will I encounter? I don't know. I'm curious. So that's what I started today, and I've been sort of building up towards it this week. It's going well. Yeah. Of course it is. It's the first day. Although sometimes the first day of these resolutions doesn't start well. New Year's resolutions, of course, very often fall into that sort of camp. I will start exercising, but you've got a hangover on the 1st of January, so I will start exercising tomorrow. And, well, we all know how that tends to end. So this has been nothing really very earth-shattering, but I thought something worth sharing. Maybe not for you, but for me, to just get it out there. One approach to sort of eliminating bad habits or negative thought patterns is to write them down and then burn them. And perhaps this is what these videos are. I sort of have these loops of conversation in my head, and I put them out there. Whether anyone acts on them is another matter. One might say probably highly unlikely. But just getting them out there gets them out of my head and sort of into the world. So that's what I've done. And as always, it would be lovely to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not going to beg for likes and subscriptions. And the fact that I don't get terribly many of those, I don't see as a bad thing at all. It does mean I'm not going to have that, achieve that sort of holy grail of passive income, but that's not why I'm doing this. So let me know in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. And otherwise, I trust your lives are filled with joy. And until next week, from a sunny Brazil, a bit shaded in this corner of the garden, ciao.